Hello, my name is Samina and I am the Honorary Librarian at the Birmingham and Midland Institute. This is another in our series of books as artefacts. And today I want to talk about end papers, which is something that everybody sort of knows about but maybe hasn't thought deeply about. This is a beautiful edition of a book that we have in our library, and it is a history of Staffordshire from the 1870s. Now, on the front cover, there's some beautiful marbling. It's very easy to do marbling. You just get a bowl of water and you drip some oil and some inks on the top, and then you float a piece of paper on the top and bring it out, and each one is different. But this is an example of beautiful marbling, and the marbling on the front cover mirrors the marbling on the end papers. These are the end papers. It's a double page that is folded across the book, and in the days of handmade paper, and potentially in the days of machine-made paper as well, you didn't buy your books bound. You bought your books with just the end papers on, and then you would send all of your books to your favourite binder, and the books would be bound in the colour that you had chosen. So it would match your decor or your curtains, or you would be able to decide that fiction would be green and non-fiction would be blue, for example. So on many end papers, you find that there are different colours because there's a blue, so it could be bound in blue and it would match. There's a browny red, and so it could be bound in that colour and would still match. And you can see, hopefully, along the edge here, where the end papers have been stuck to the boards. These are the boards. And you can see here where the front part of the marbling comes across to the back and is glued down, and then the end paper is glued over the top to enclose it all. So that's what end papers were for. We have a collection of hundreds, if not thousands, of unbound books, and they have their end papers. We hadn't realised that that's how books were sold. And so we thought that they were mistakes, or that the bindings had fallen off, the boards and the bindings had fallen off. But in fact, they hadn't. That's how books were sold. In the next video, I'll show you what we do to preserve those books and to keep them as well as we can before we can get them rebound. So that's early end papers. But the tradition of end papers continued through the ages. Here's one. This is where the end paper has been used as an example of the map that the book's about England, In Search of England by H.V. Morton. And so this is easy to refer back to because it's part of the end paper, and the end paper is stuck to the board. So you can easily find it. So you don't have to have a little bookmark in. So that's a useful end paper, and a very pretty little flower on the front. This is an example of Collins's end papers. This is Walter Scott, Ivanhoe, and as you see, they've taken a rather cheeky approach to end papers. You can see it better on the back one. Often the end papers at the back are clearer than the end papers at the front because they don't tend to have been used as much. Now, every man had different end papers according to the colour of their covers. So this is the red one, and it's quite faint, but their end papers have that lovely design in. And the green ones have a lady saying, "Every man I will go with thee." And it would be quite interesting to find out if ones that were printed at the same time, you could choose between green and red, but I haven't got round to that, but I will. This is an example from Dent, who was a publisher, and this is Jane Eyre Volume 1, the novels of Charlotte, Emily and Anne Bronte. And you can see there's Charlotte, Anne and Emily Bronte on the cover, and then mirroring that on the end paper you have the same insignia again, Charlotte, Emily, Anne Bronte, which is really quite nice. This is the Oxford Book of Victorian Verse, nicely gilded round the edge, and that again has the marbled end paper. Unfortunately that's been presented to someone and had stuff stuck on it, but there you can see the end paper again. You could choose blues, browns, you could probably get away with a green. The end paper would match any colour that you wanted to bind the book in, and you can see where it's glued along the edge to the board. This is a rather spectacular one from the coronation of Queen Elizabeth. The front end paper is mangled, but this one at the back, again the back one is better preserved, shows the pomp and circumstance of the coronation and is quite a beautiful thing. So look out for end papers next time you're looking at a book, and now you know what they were for, and we'll show you the books without the boards on in the next video. Thank you.